The Georgia Bulldogs landed a big-time five-star prospect on Wednesday in inside linebacker Zayden Walker. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what Kirby Smart and company are getting in the Schley County product and why he's a perfect fit for the Georgia defense, and also why I think he's a future first-round draft pick.
We just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose. We just crushed their face.
What's up, guys? I'm Tyler, and this is a film study edition of the Glory UJ podcast, brought to you, as always, by the great people at Alumni Hall. Off the top, guys, let's take care of some business. If you enjoyed today's video, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you guys think about today's episode. Zayden Walker is a prospect in general. I would love to hear from you guys. But speaking of Zayden Walker, let's go ahead and dive right into it. Yes, inside linebacker, number one inside linebacker in the country, Zayden Walker, has ended his recruitment, and he has committed to the good guys. He is now a Georgia Bulldog. I guess technically he's not a Georgia Bulldog until he officially signs on the dotted line, but he has declared his intentions to become a Georgia Bulldog. And if you've been paying attention at all to this 2025 recruiting class, this should not come as a surprise in any way, shape, or form. This guy, Zayden Walker, has been trending towards Georgia for a long time. He is a Georgia kid, small town Georgia kid. Typically, we fare better with guys that come from small town Georgia because they tend to have like families that have roots in Georgia, and they kind of have that built-in in-state loyalty, whereas if like from the metro Atlanta area where we don't have as much success recruiting, that's a very transient area, right? So this is not a surprise whatsoever. I think after the scavenger hunt weekend, which was a couple weeks ago at this point, coming out of that weekend, I think it was Chad Simmons from On 3. Gotta give credit where credit's due. Chad Simmons had a great interview with Zayden Walker, and I don't want to butcher the quote, but the quote was essentially, "Georgia is one of one for me." So again, this is not a surprise. Maybe it's a surprise that he ended his recruitment this early, but the fact that he has committed to Georgia, that should not be a surprise to anyone. And guys, he is a big time prospect. He's the number 24 prospect overall in the country, a five-star guy. Again, the number one inside linebacker in the country, according to the On 3 industry rankings. And this is not a situation where, okay, now he's committed to Georgia, so here's Tyler waxing poetic about this guy just because he's a Georgia guy now. If he had committed to Alabama, we would just be saying he's a scrub, right? No. A couple weeks ago, I'm sure a lot of you caught this video, I put out my list, like version 1.0 of my top 5 most wanted prospects in this 2025 class, and Zayden Walker was on that list. I've been on this guy for a long time. He was number 5 on that list. The only reason he was not higher is because of the position that he plays. It's not that I don't put a value on inside linebacker. I certainly do. It's my favorite position. It's what I played back in the day. I coached it for a little while, years and years ago. I love inside linebacker play. I'm watching those guys probably more than anyone else on the field. I'm weird like that. So it's not that I don't love inside linebackers. It's just that we're stacked in that room right now, and that was just not as big of a position of need in this class as, say, getting a big-time top-flight defensive tackle, maybe a couple of those guys. So that's why I was at number 5. But regardless, I mean, being in my top 5, you're a heck of a football player. So I think very highly of Zayden Walker, and I have for a long time. And guys, he's a flat-out stud. There's a reason why he was in my initial top 5 most wanted list. He is an absolute incredible athlete at his size, as I will show you guys. He's also a perfect fit for the Georgia defense at inside linebacker in terms of his skill set and what he brings to the table. Now, here is the interesting thing about Zayden Walker coming out of high school. So he is rated right now with the On 3 industry rankings as the number 1 inside linebacker in the country. However, he doesn't play inside linebacker at high school. So, like, what? How does that work? Well, guys, a lot of these high school rankings, a lot of them, they're all projections, right? And if you look at the guy physically, he does not project to play outside linebacker at the next level, which is what he does in high school. They play in Schley County essentially like a base 3-4 most of the time, and he is playing on the edge, rushing the passer more often than not, and that shouldn't be all that surprising as a guy that is just an incredible athlete in a small town area, a small school. Typically, those kind of schools, they just put their best athletes where they can wreak the most defensively, where they can wreak the most havoc, and offensively, where they can impact the game the most. So he actually plays a lot of offense. I'll show you guys some of those clips as well. So I'm not surprised that he plays outside linebacker. He does it very well at the high school level, but going like to college, projecting the next level, he's going to play inside linebacker. He's 6'2", 230. He just doesn't have the size, the frame to really hold up on the edge consistently, like setting the edge at the college level, like which is what we would require him to do if he's playing like jack linebacker. It's a lot like Jayden Walker, who's here in Athens now. He's kind of a tweener in a way. Like he could play outside linebacker. He has those pass rush skills, but he's more of a natural inside linebacker with his size and skill set outside of those natural pass rush abilities. And Jayden Walker, we know he's gotten on the field early as a guy who can rush the passer on third downs, but he hasn't been able to play all that much because on standard downs, he can't be in the game at jack because he's not big enough to be able to hold up, setting the edge consistently there. So I see a lot of similarities between Jayden Walker and now Zayden Walker coming out of high school. But make no mistake about it, guys. Zayden Walker is, again, a straight-up stud. Now, anyone can tell you he's good. You can just look at his rating and say, oh, 5-star guy? Yeah, he's good. Anyone can tell you that. What I want to do today is show you why he's such a big-time prospect and such a great fit for this Georgia defense. Now, the first place we got to start when we're breaking down his game and evaluating Zayden Walker as a prospect, we just have to start with a general athleticism. This guy, again, 6'2", 230, but he moves like he's like 190. The athleticism at that size, the size-athleticism combination, it's off the charts, guys. It's 5-star caliber stuff. Now, his coach says he's been clocked at a 4.5. Is that laser time? Is that hand time? I don't know, but if you watch him play on tape, it kind of checks out. If it's not 4.5, it's right around there. And again, that's in high school as a guy that's 230, a rising senior. When he gets into college and he gets into a college strength program, this guy is going to be a 4.4 guy. In however many years when he goes to the NFL Combine, I feel very confident saying that he is going to run a 4.4 when the time comes. So when you have that kind of speed and athleticism, that is a big reason why you can be considered a big-time 5-star prospect. Because at the next level in modern football, if you are playing inside linebacker, it's critical to have that type of athleticism. It's because of how offenses have evolved, guys, with the proliferation of spread offense. That has become the norm. Remember back in the day, spread offenses were kind of like, we would call them gimmicky, right? They were the exception. They were like the different kind of offenses. Well, now every offense has spread principles built within those offenses, and they're trying to maximize their use of space. That's what offenses are trying to do. So if you want to play inside linebacker at the next level, you have got to be able to play in space. And the only way you can play in space effectively at the next level is if you have the type of athleticism that will allow you to do so, be able to move side of the sideline effortlessly and make those plays all over the field. And Zayden Walker has that requisite athleticism. And when you turn on the tape, that skill set is on full display. So that is the first part of his game that I want to check out. So let's turn to the tape here real quick. All right, guys, Zayden Walker as an athlete, got a couple clips for you here to illustrate this. First one here, he is actually playing on the strong side, so this is not like he has to go all the way across the field, but still, the ability to shuffle down the line and then explode and make the play on the running back there, that takes some serious athleticism. Your average high school edge player ain't making that play, y'all. That's an athlete. Now, this play, he's going to be chasing down a running back on a breakaway from behind. Again, that's just insane athleticism for a guy that's 6'2", 230 pounds. This play, he's playing from the backside. He's going to hesitate for a second, thinks the play's gone, but it spills out, spits out, and he's there to come across the line and make the play. Now, this is probably the play I love the most on his junior tape to kind of illustrate the kind of athlete he is. So playing in space, that's what you're going to have to do at the next level. That's a big part of why you need to be an athlete playing inside linebacker in college. And look at this, guys. That skill translates. Sitting there playing in space with an athletic quarterback, not only functioning effectively in space, but being able to make the play on the athletic quarterback in space. That is a big-time athlete. And there's a bunch of clips in his tape, guys, of him playing offense. I'm not showing you these because he's going to play offense at the next level. He's not going to, but it's just further indicative of the type of athlete he is, that he's able to play running back and play as well as he does. Now, yes, at smaller schools, do guys tend to play both ways, especially if you're the best player on the team? Yes, but they don't all play inside linebacker at 230 and also run the football and catch the football like this. Watch this little wheel route. That's ridiculous, guys. That is an athlete. So yes, he's obviously a fantastic athlete. I showed you a number of clips there, and I could have shown you about 20, 30 more clips of his athleticism, but we want to cut off there because we got more things that we want to go over here. So the next thing I want to move on to is what I think I love most about Zayden Walker's game. What gets me the most excited about this guy, and that is his pass rush ability. Now, I want to go back to what we said earlier. He projects as an inside linebacker, right? But he plays outside linebacker in high school. So you might be asking, well, like, why do you care if he's a good pass rusher and has pass rush skills if he projects as an inside linebacker the next level? Well, guys, you gotta think about what Georgia does defensively, how our defense has evolved over the last 3 to 4 years. In the current modern Georgia defense under Kirby Smart, his pass rush skill set will absolutely translate to the Georgia defense. Because if you've watched us play at all, which if you're watching this video, I know you have. So if you've watched Georgia play at all over the last 3 to 4 years, you know how much we use our inside linebackers in both sim pressures and just straight up outright pressures. And you can see that in these clips right here. All right, so I've got a series of clips here of Georgia inside linebackers. Last year, by the way, blitzing the quarterback, coming out the quarterback, pressuring the quarterback, and this is all to just show you why, even though he's not going to be a pass rusher by trade, like an edge rusher, Zayden Walker's pass rushing skill set will translate to the next level. You can see all these clips here of inside linebackers. You got Pop Dumas Johnson, a couple of these. You're going to have Jayden Walker in a couple. Here's Pop in a mug look. It's a double mug look. One guy dropping back. Pop still coming. Here we're going to have a little cross dog action between Pop and Smile. Oh, actually, no, that's the next play. Against Florida, we're going to have a little, right here, going to have a little cross dog action. There's Smile. Here's Pop coming, beating Trevor Etienne, by the way, on the pass rush. Then we're going to have Jayden Walker here against Florida, forcing a fumble. Going to have a couple clips from Jayden Walker in the Alabama game. So what you're seeing here is just a variety of examples of different Georgia inside linebackers rushing the passer in different ways, from different positions, different levels, different situations, and having success doing so. So again, this is all just to show you why I think that skill set, even though he's going to play inside linebacker at the next level, why that skill set will translate to Georgia. So yeah, inside linebackers rushing the passer has become a major part of the evolution of the Georgia defense in recent years. And it's also, by the way, been a big factor in why we've won 2 of the last 3 national championships. So as you can see from those clips, he will rush the passer, and he will rush the passer a lot at the University of Georgia. And that is probably, if you ask me, like, all right, Tyler, what is he best at right now outside of just being an incredible athlete at that size? The best skill that he has as a football player is his ability to rush the passer. So let's take a look at that on the tape. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, we're going to start with what is my favorite clip of him rushing the passer on his junior tape, because this is really going to showcase the skill set that will translate to the next level. There are plenty of clips of him destroying the quarterback because he's unimpeded, like there's just no one that blocks him, and that's fun and all. It's cool to watch that, but that doesn't really tell us anything about what he's going to be able to do the next level, which is not even having to beat blocks. He's not really showcasing his skill set. He's just running at the quarterback unimpeded. So I try to find some clips of you where he's actually using a pass rush skill set. Now, certainly, the competition here, as you're going to see, poor little number 15 right here, man. This guy, yeah, not much of a match, but still, you can see he's going to use his hands to discard number 15. The running back's going to come to block him here, and he's going to have no trouble discarding the running back and then eventually making them play on the quarterback. Using his hands, look at that. Using his hands, throwing them away, making the play on the quarterback. That's a big-time pass rush move. Right here again. Now this is, I love this play too. It's kind of a speed rush, almost out of control. He's out of control here. It's a power, it's like a bull rush more or less really what it is. He's just going to go through this guy, and he does. In the process, knocks himself down, but look at, here's the athleticism, the relentless play, gets back on his feet, makes the play on the quarterback. So you can see again those pass rush skills. Here's another one, coming in off the edge, beating 2 guys on his way to the quarterback, keeping his eyes on the quarterback as the quarterback's maneuvering in the pocket, and having the athleticism to make the play there. And here's one more coming off the edge with an inside move, meeting everybody there at the quarterback. So clearly, you can see right there, this guy has elite pass rushing skills. At least he has the skill set that will translate and allow him to be a big-time pass rusher at the next level. But as we all know, if you're going to play inside linebacker, which again, that's what we project Zayden Walker to do at the next level, yeah, pass rushing has become more a part of that job description, but there's certainly far more to it than just rushing the passer. More often than not, you are still going to be a run defender from that second level. And if you can't defend the run from the inside linebacker position, you simply just can't play inside linebacker for Georgia. So this, I have to admit, this is where the eval gets interesting to a degree, because we really have to project here. I have not seen one single clip of this guy playing inside linebacker, right? So this is a total projection. We're just saying based off your physical profile, you are going to project the next level as an inside linebacker. I have no video evidence to show you guys of him stacking and shedding. I have no visual evidence to show you of him scraping across the line of scrimmage. I have no evidence to show you of him filling gaps. I don't have clips to show you of him doing that because they don't exist. I can't show you that. But we also have to remember the Georgia defense. Not only have we used our inside linebackers to rush the passer more, as we talked about, our defense has become more multiple over the years. And one of the things that we have done more recently is we will get to some bear looks where we bring our inside linebacker up playing on the edge of the line of scrimmage. And look, that's not where our inside linebackers are going to spend the majority of their time, but it is a part of what inside linebackers do in the Georgia defensive scheme. Because what it does, it helps us create one-on-one matchups across the board, and that allows us to keep our structural integrity in the back end against the pass, but also be able to pressure the quarterback without having to bring extra bodies. So that is something that we will do, and you can see it right here on tape. All right, here, just a couple of quick little clips of Smile Munden. I think 2 clips here of Smile Munden here, basically in a bear look right here. Here's Smile. So it's a bear look, right? So you have both guards, guard right here, guard here, and center are covered by defensive linemen. We've got the jack right here, walking the line of scrimmage, and now Smiles walking up. That is an old school bear front, guys. That's what that is. And when the linebacker walks up, and the inside linebacker walks up in a bear front, you are now defending the run from the edge. Again, this is not what our linebackers do by trade. This is not what they do all the time. It's not often they do this, but they will do it from time to time. And here's just a couple quick examples of that. Here is Auburn right here. There's Smile at the top of the screen. So there you go. And that's really what Zayden Walker does a lot of at the high school level. And I can show you clips of him doing that right here. Okay, to showcase Walker's ability to defend the run on the edge, I have 3 different clips that show him defending the run well in 3 different ways, doing 3 different things here. So the first one is going to show him squeeze the line, which is what you're coached to do if you see the ball going opposite. But when the play spits out his side, it bounces outside his way, he's going to have the athleticism to redirect and make the play on the ball carrier. So you can see him squeeze, 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 redirect, make the play. That's beautiful. Big time stuff. Now here, he is executing a surf technique and making the play on the running back. I love this. This is something that we're going to ask our inside linebackers to do. Again, when we get in that bear technique look, this is something we ask our inside linebackers to do. We ask our edge players in general to be able to do this. And if you're not familiar with what I mean by surf technique, if you're not familiar with that term as it relates to football, let's go back to like old school, original like quarterback zone read stuff, right? Where the quarterback, the most simplistic way to do it is you're reading the backside in. If the end crashes on the running back when you have the mesh point, quarterback pulls it and runs around the end there, and he's got the +1 scenario out there. If the backside defensive end or backside man on the end line of the scrimmage is playing the quarterback and doesn't crash on the running back, well, now you have a +1 scenario to the play side, to the front side, so you hand the ball to the running back, right? Well, one way to muddy that read for the quarterback, it's all about the quarterback making the right read. As long as the quarterback makes the right read, they should have the numbers advantage. Well, how can you counteract that? Well, you muddy the read for the quarterback, and one way to do that is using what we call the surf technique, where essentially the man on the line, the end man on the line of scrimmage, the end, in this case, an outside linebacker, is going to keep his shoulders level to line of scrimmage. He's not going to commit one way or the other. He's kind of just surfing down line of scrimmage and not committing until he knows where that ball is going. You're going to see here, he's surfing, and once he sees that, yes, the quarterback has handed the ball off, he is going to collapse on the running back, and that's where the athleticism really kicks in. But you can see that surf technique, right? Surf, 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 boom. So again, he's going to surf, 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 sees the ball's hand off, and then collapses on the running back and makes the play. And then right here, I love this play because you are going to see him use his hands. This is one thing that a lot of big time prospects, even like 5-star guys at high school level, they a lot of times just out athlete people, and they're not all that technically sound. And there is some of that in Zayden Walker's game. We'll get to some of that later on. But here's an example of him doing a great job with technique, using his hands, controlling the block. He gets his hands on the lineman before the lineman gets his hands on him. You're going to win the battle more often than not, 90+% of the time if you do that. Gets his hands on the lineman, great hand placement, drags him, discards him. Now he makes a play on the ball carrier. That's a big-time play. So yeah, that's not what inside linebackers are going to do the majority of the time in the Georgia defense. I have to admit that they're going to be filling gaps from depth there from the second level, but there are going to be instances where that skill set will translate for him at the next level. But let's recap where we are so far with Zayden Walker, what we talked about. So what we have is a dude who is an elite athlete at his size, athleticism combination off the charts, 6'2", 230, running a 4.5-ish 40-yard dash right now. Already has very strong pass rush skills that will allow him to become a dynamic pass rusher from that position at the next level, a lot like Jalen Walker. I think he also has the strength and technique to play the run effectively on the edge. We have no really film evidence of him doing it from the inside linebacker position, but we do have some evidence of him doing it on the edge. So all that adds up to a big-time prospect. There's a reason he is a 5-star guy. He's appropriately ranked. He is deserving of that 5-star. But just because you're a 5-star guy does not necessarily mean that you are a finished product, that you are a plug-and-play type guy or an immediate impact type player. Now, if he does make an immediate impact for us, I think it will be a lot like Jalen Walker. I think it will be as a third-down pass rush specialist in our dime package, because that's a skill set he has right now. There is going to be a learning curve for him to learn how to play inside linebacker, and that would be a lot like, Jalen Walker to a degree, but certainly maybe more so Quay Walker, a lot of Walkers, back in the day. Remember Quay? He was a guy coming out of high school, also played a lot, almost exclusively on the edge coming out of high school. But you could see, like, this guy at the next level, he'll play inside linebacker. He's going to be a hellaciously good inside linebacker once he figures out how to do it. It took him some time. He did not click right away. He was not an immediate impact guy. But once Quay Walker learned that position, there was a little bit of a learning curve. But once he learned it, and once that light went off, Quay Walker became a first-round draft pick at inside linebacker. And I think the same thing will ultimately end up being true of Zayden Walker. This is a guy that is not going to play significant downs on like standard down situations, first and second down, because he's got to learn how to play that position. I don't see it happening year one for him. But by the way, we also have just so many elite guys in that room. I just don't see him really continuing to be part of the two deep in year one. But give him a year or two when he learns how to play that position. The athleticism and those pass rush skills are going to allow him to become a big-time inside linebacker for us. But saying all that, it doesn't mean that he is a finished product. There are some things that he needs to work on. There are clearly some areas in which he needs to improve. So, this is a guy that I think has a lot of skills, but as I'm going to show you here in just a second, there are some areas that not only do I think he can work on, that I just don't really love on tape. I love him as a prospect. I love what he's going to develop into, but there are some things that I see on tape from him that, to be quite honest, I don't altogether love. So let's take a look at it. Okay, with the last set of clips, I showed you some really good clips of him defending the run, doing a great job effectively defending the run on the edge. However, while he can be effective defending the run on the edge, he's also really inconsistent with his technique at times. In fact, he's developed one really bad habit that he is going to have to get rid of, and he will get this coached out of him, guys. But he has a really bad habit at times. He doesn't do this all the time, but far too often for my liking, playing the run on the edge, he will take on the block with the wrong shoulder. Typically speaking, you want to keep that outside shoulder free if you are the end man on the line of scrimmage, because you do not want to get reached by that tackle. If you get reached and that play is coming to your side, you have been taken out of the play. The offensive lineman has accomplished what he wanted to accomplish in trying to block you. So when you attack the blocker with your outside shoulder first, you lead with that, you're playing right into his hands. You're giving him exactly what he wants. Now, Zayden Walker is a great athlete, so he can recover, especially at this level of high school football. He can play with his wrong shoulder against these offensive linemen and still have the athleticism to spin off of him. That's what he does. You'll see, I have a couple clips of this. He will lead with his wrong shoulder. He will go with the outside shoulder, give it away to them, and then just spin off of that and still make the play. So, hey, it all works out well, and that's why he keeps doing it, because it still works out just fine for him at the high school level. But when you get to the college level, no, that offensive lineman, you give him your outside shoulder like that, he's going to drive you into the ground, okay? He's going to hurt you. He's going to humiliate you. You're not going to be able to just spin off of it like you are in like 1A, 2A football, whatever level this is. But let's go ahead and show this clip, and let's run it. You can see him right here. Wrong shoulder. Oh, man, that lineman. How do you not just bury him in the ground. Wrong shoulder, but he's, hey, athlete, spins off of it, makes a play. Can't do that at the next level, guys. Cannot. Same thing right here. Wrong shoulder, like, what are you doing? No, play with your hands. We showed a clip of him a few minutes ago playing with his hands, doing it really well. Just do it every time. But no, man, outside shoulder, should get reached there, but hey, has the athleticism to get off the block and still make the play. Same, this is another egregious example. That's bad. He's just fortunate that this lineman is off balance, overextended, doesn't have a good solid base. Also, the lineman looks like he's about 155 pounds. Yeah, I mean, number 4, dear God, is that guy even 140? Soaking wet? So, yeah, the guy falls back when he puts his shoulder into him, but nevertheless, he's putting the wrong shoulder into that guy. At the next level, when you got a 315-pound left tackle, he's going to bury you. So that's a habit that we're going to have to break here. And this one right here, now this is one of those plays, it looks cool. Like, all these plays look cool. Like, all this, like, hey, spin off the play. Spin off the lineman, make the play. Oh, yeah, man, watch me make this spin move. What a play. Like, no, actually, no, you should not have been in any position to have to do that. It looks cool, but it's not effective, not at the next level. Same thing here. This looks really cool as a tackle. Oh, my God, how bad is that form? Hey, it worked. You got the guy on the ground, but, man, you're playing some elite running backs in the SEC, and you put your head down, you're not even looking at the guy, and you just dive down at the ground, that dude is going to put one hand on your head, and that dude's going to be running to the end zone. I mean, you cannot do this. Now, fortunately, this is not what he does all the time, but there are some of these habits where the technique is not great that we're going to have to coach out of him. Now, the great thing about some of these areas in which he needs to improve, these are all things that can be very easily coached out of him. And from everything I understand about the young man, don't know the kid, but I think you hear about him, he's going to be a very coachable guy, and he will allow himself to be coached up, and he will fix those issues very, very quickly. So that's the bright side here. But there are some areas in which he needs to improve. But when you put all of his attributes together, despite some of those areas he does need to improve, when you put the total picture together of what Zayden Walker is as a prospect, with the athleticism, the size, that combination, the pass rush ability, you have a player, again, that is a perfect fit for the modern Georgia defense. Again, I will caution you against having high expectations in year one, because there is going to be that learning curve, but make no mistake about it. This guy can absolutely play, and I believe there is a strong likelihood that not only will he ultimately end up being a big-time contributor for the University of Georgia inside linebacker, I believe there's a strong chance that down the road he will end up being a first-round NFL draft pick. All right, guys, that's all I got for today on the show. Make sure, again, let's subscribe, like if you enjoyed today's content. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about Zayden Walker. Let me know what you guys think about my take on Zayden Walker. Love to hear from you guys. And, of course, as always, make sure you're checking out the Glory UJ podcast for more great Georgia sports coverage designed for you guys, the diehard Georgia fans. It's just a small taste of what we've got going on the Glory UJ podcast. So wherever you get your podcasts, make sure to check that out. Glory UJ podcast. Ton of great Georgia content for you guys. But I'm out here, guys. Appreciate you. And as always, go Dogs.
Man, is there going to be some property destroyed tonight. 26-21. Dogs on top.